Hey there, my name is Damon, and of course if you're watching these videos you know that I normally work on ships in Caledonia, and at the moment of course we're all sort of grounded, and this is going to be another little tour. This one is certainly a long way from ships in the coast. I'm a couple of hours inland now. So another video, another ecosystem, and this one is a little bit different. It's a rocky habitat. It's mostly granite. It's surrounded by eucalypt woodland, but within the rocky habitat you do get different species. You get some endemic plants that only grow here, and you get a few different animals as well. And that's the main reason I'm here, is to look for a type of macropod that lives within the rocky habitat specifically. And this is a group called the rock wallabies. There are of course many different rock wallabies across the continent, and this is one that I haven't seen before. This one is called the brush-tailed rock wallaby, and it's one of the more southerly species. So rock wallabies normally, like most Australian mammals, sleep during the day, or at least rest during the day, and then they generally don't come out except at night time and first few hours of the morning and last few hours of the day, generally to feed. So I'll try a couple of different spots, sort of looking and stopping and just sort of gazing around, see if I can find any movement. And that's usually what I'm looking for. If they're still, and there could be a dozen of them there, looking right at you, you could easily miss them. They just blend in really well. So what you're hoping for is a little bit of luck and just to see a little bit of movement as they jump between rocks, or they turn their head, or just something that will catch your eye, and then you can focus on the animal. So I've come to this area because it's known for its brush-tailed rock wallaby population, but I haven't seen one yet, and I'm not really sure if they're here, but I now know that they are, because one of the essential signs of rock wallabies that you always look for is their scat. So if you can see some scat, and they look like little sort of sultanas, if you like. They're not too big, they're not cubed like a wallaroo or a euro, and they're not as big as a western grey or an eastern grey, so they're quite small bits of poop, and they're almost always in and amongst the rocky crevices, so that's a good sign that there's at least one rock wallaby here. Okay, so we're pretty lucky. I've got a single one here, and it looks like, I'm guessing it's a male, and I think it's probably somewhat used to people. There's a little trail here, so he's just off the track, and he doesn't seem too disturbed by us, which is good for us, and good for him. He doesn't get too stressed out. So rock wallabies are a very specialised rock inhabiting macropod, a wallaby. I think of it as a small kangaroo really, and there's sort of equivalents of these animals all around the world. So wherever there's a rocky habitat in Eurasia or Africa, there's usually a group of mammals that have adapted to live in it. So in Africa, of course, you've got Dassie or Hyrax. All across Europe and Asia you have mountain goats, and here in Australia, particularly in the tropics and the arid areas, we have a group called the petrogali, which means rock weasel, which are the rock wallabies. And this little guy belongs to a group which is very interesting. They found that there's many more species than we thought, because they're quite cryptic. They often, the colour of their fur changes to blend in with the rock they live in. and they could only determine there was many different more species than they thought by looking at the genetics of many individuals. So it's I haven't got a watch. I don't know what time, but it's early. I think it's only about 8 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it might be about 7, and he's still feeding by the look of it. So he's having a little bit of a munch away. And in the next hour or two, when it gets quite hot today, I think, he'll head off fairly shortly. And so I guess it's time we should head off as well. It's been pretty productive. It's a new species for me, and time to hop off. Thank you.